Okay, friends, so this week we are drawing texture dragons, and this is the texture dragon that I made in Sketch.io. Now, your job for this assignment is to create 3 different textures in one drawing. On my dragon, I have very light scales that kind of look like they're peeling off and flying away like glitter. He also has some fur and whiskers around his face and a really shiny texture for his horns. If you look on the inside of his back wing, it's a little dark brown, and I tried to make it look weathered, kind of like leather or a bat wing. In this picture, as well as the texture on the dragon, there's also the texture of the rock below, and we have some cloud texture, right? And I have a teeny tiny red butterfly right here. Now, I have described all of the texture in my drawing, which is what you'll need to do in Seesaw. And you can also give me a story or a premise of like what happened to this dragon. Who's this dragon? You know, for me, this is a dream dragon, and the dream dragon is like just covered in this like pollen. It looks like pollen, um, but they're like sparkles. It's just magic that just wafts off of this dragon all the time. Whether he's flying or sleeping, no matter where he is, the little magic pollen just kind of falls off of him like glitter. So I'm going to give you a couple of pointers for drawing your dragon, just for fun. Okay, let's start a new drawing. Okay, so the first thing I want to remind you when you're doing your texture dragon in Sketch.io is that you don't have to draw an adult dragon. Maybe your dragon is still in its egg, so you want to texture the egg, maybe add a little shadow, and then maybe you want to add like a little crack where you can see the eye of the baby dragon coming out. That would be completely fine for this assignment because the main goal is that you add 3 textures to one drawing. So right now, this is a very flat drawing. I have this very flat egg shape, which I used the ellipse tool inside of your shapes option under your drawing tool. Another thing, just as an idea, so if you're drawing like a young dragon or whatever, also remember that it doesn't have to have 4 legs. Maybe your dragon um, is more of like a serpent and swims and only has 2 front legs and a long seahorse tail. Or maybe your dragon likes to hide in the trees. So your dragon has tree bark texture and leaves extending off the top of its head. There are so many things you can do, especially when you search um, dragon types or something online. You can find different kinds of dragons in Google to kind of help you get some ideas. You can search for baby dragons. You could search for flying dragons. Now, the only thing with like these Pokemon dragons is that they're very flat, right? They're a cartoon, so they only have one texture. It's just very, very, very flat. If you look in the background, the clouds have more texture than the dragons. The water has more texture than these dragons, right? When you find a dragon that you really enjoy looking at, look at all the different details. Does it have lots of horns? Does it have big wings? Does your dragon swim? What is it about your dragon that makes it special? All right, I'm going to draw a baby lava dragon. Oh, see, that's an Eevee. I'm going to draw a baby lava dragon and I will show you how it's going in just a second. Okay, so I've added some texture to my dragon egg. I went into the stamp tool and I found a selection of dots that were kind of in a triangle shape. I filled this whole area and then I dropped the opacity down on the streamer brush and used a light green color to add a highlight and a light gray to add shading and then a black opacity of 10% to add the shadow. I drew my baby dragon. I decided to go with black, and I'm going to add just a few cracks around the eyes so it looks like kind of like lava dripping. So I want to start with red. I found this cool stamp tool that looks like lightning. I have a red orange linear color right here. I didn't want to choose something that was like two different colors that were, I mean, that might be cool, but that's not really what I'm going for. I'm going for like more of a red or an orange. I'm going to start with orange and then move into red and gold, and just start really slow. There we go. I did have to change the scale so it was a lot smaller. I'm just going to start with this, like, just these like light orange cracks in the skin first, and then I'll come back and add some tiling around the eye and on the face, so that it looks, so that you can see the scales. I really want this texture. Right now my dragon is really flat, right? It's just like that Pokemon dragon we were looking at, which they're very cool, but it's very flat. And I'm going to add this on the tail as well. I made sure the rotation was 360 so I wouldn't have to worry about the angle of anything. It's just cracks in all different directions, little lava cracks since it's a baby lava dragon. And I want to add like some ooze, like some gold and red, like lava ooze dripping. I'm just going to get this little dragon arm a little bit more, and then the back. I need to go back in and add some details to the eye. I'm just clicking and dragging right now. I'm not trying to place anything in a specific area. Cool. All right, looks good. Ready for the next step. Okay, so what I did, oh shoot. I always forget that when you change your drawing tool opacity, it also changes the eraser opacity, which is super annoying. Okay, so what I did was just use that same lightning, add a lot of gold and red, and then I went in with the streamer brush set to a 50% opacity, and I kind of added the fill so it looked like this. No, it was the pen tool. I used the pen tool. So both of these were set to 50%, and yeah, the pen tool. Both of these are set to 50%. I dropped my line width down, and these are both set to that same black and gray gradient at 50%. And I just went around and made these like kind of translucent scale patterns like all over the dragon. I'm just trying to erase these like extra white lines that came out from the sides, like you can see. used that stamp tool and it went everywhere. So I'm just trying to clean it up just a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? It's just for fun. Okay, so now that I have like this weird red and yellow cracks all over my dragon, I'm gonna go back in with the streamer brush tool, and I'm gonna set this to actually like the solid black color, and drop my opacity down to 50%. And I'm just gonna kind of darken up some of the areas so that it's not all this like very uniform pattern texture. Like if this dragon was actually sitting next to this egg, then there would be light coming in from one side, so there's going to be shading. So dropping the opacity down will help me come into these areas and shade, anywhere that I don't want those strong um, like bright red colors. And with using true black, I change my opacity like a quite a bit. Like this is 10%. So I might just do around the face here, just to kind of darken up these yellows and reds, just so that it looks like he has like, where your eyebrow is, right above this part of the skull of the dragon would be more prominent and stick out. So I want to make sure that that's the brightest. And so I kind of want to darken up anything else like around it so that you can clearly see that that's the darkest point. I also added these scales on here, but they were kind of bright for the middle of the nose. So I'm just going to click and drag, layer some shade in here just to darken it up just a bit. I really liked the dragon before when it was just black and gray. It was really cute. I still have to work on that eyeball, right? And the nose. Let's just go around that part of the nose. And then I outlined it with this gray because it was set to the gradient, and I didn't realize it wouldn't be the same as the fill when I had outline. So I'm just going to darken this up too. That's just going to take a couple of passes. It's all right. Right. Just shade under the chin here just a little bit. And if you go outside the lines, it's okay because I'm probably going to go around and add more shadowing just the same way that I did for the egg. So I'm just going to keep clicking. Just going to darken this up just a bit. Just a bit. I like it bright in some areas. Now the wing would cast a shadow over this inside arm, but I want to see that gray line just so that somebody can look at it and say, oh, that's where the pot is. So I'm just going to darken up the edges a little bit and that bright color. Go back in here. The wing would cast a shadow over this part of the tail, like kind of in like a triangle form. So I'm just going to go over this area a couple of times. Okay, the light would catch right there. Kind of shade up this one half of the tail. Okay, maybe not so bright. Yeah, now you can see the scale pattern a little bit better. Okay. Now I'm gonna kind of do a swooping motion just in the middle here, because this part of the wing that's like closer to the head would have more light, but this bottom part that's kind of bent down, I want it to look bent down. So as I try to add some, the shading is actually helping me develop the form of the dragon. And we're going to talk about form soon, probably next week. So just leave that. And I'll just darken this bottom part up just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. I'm also going to darken up the insides of these horns. I haven't decided yet, but I think I'm going to go over these and make them solid black. Like this one is, like you can barely see it because it matches. Let's just go over that a couple of times. I'm going to make those black. And then I'll just blacken up the back of the body real quick. Again, I'm not really worried about going outside the lines. Like, I've gone outside the lines a bunch, and I am not worried about that. Okay, cool. I like it. I really like it so far. I hope you guys like it too. Ooh, that would be cool if this one came out that far. Maybe I'll change that. Okay, I'm going to pause it and work on this eye for a little bit, and then I will probably clean up around the edges and add some shadow, and then I'll show you how to do the liquid slime lava dripping from the sides of the dragon. Okay, so while I'm working on this eye, I just want to show you that and if this was an actual eyeball, if you're thinking of like a cow or a horse or some large animal with a similar eye, you need to shade and add shadow to the top of the eyeball. It's not all the way white, and I think this is set to like 10%. It's usually my go-to, just so that I can layer it a bunch of times, and it's okay if I go over the edge, the top, a few extra times. But what this is going to do is create that dynamic look inside the eye. And I'm just going to add a little bit of shading down here at the bottom, and then right at the corner of the bottom in the back. That's it. Okay, so it's just a little bit extra black. One across the bottom. Okay. All right, so now when I add my eyeball, and I'm going to go into the radial, trying to find a cool looking dragon eye. It's got to go with my lava. Maybe this one. Let's see. See what this does. Let's see. If we like it. I haven't let go yet, so I can always resize it in a minute. Ooh, what? I love it. I love it. I love it so much. It's perfect. I'm just going to drop this back down to 50. Remember, that's my go-to. Do a little liner on the top. One across the bottom. Kind of keep it inside that eyeball, which means that I'm going to have to... Actually, let's just move it. We're going to grab it and move it down. That's pretty neat. Okay, I'm going to go back to my drawing tool and just add like a little bit of black. I'm not even going to try to go in and erase this. And, oh, it's back down to 10% with the black. But I want it to be like kind of a darker gray. So I need to shadow this eyeball, and I want to shade over top of that red in the eye just as much as I'm shading the white part. Okay. And some people don't even use true white when they're drawing eyes. They start with like a lighter gray and then just come in and add white highlights, which is probably the easiest thing you can do. Right? So even if I end up shading this whole eyeball gray, which might actually happen, it's looking that way. Let's do 50 again. And we'll go back to black. I want to kind of add a little bit of darkness around the top here. Okay, that's pretty cool. I know I'm going to add some black under this part of the nose. And awesome. Awesome. Now I'm probably just going to go in here with this tool and just like quickly just add some scales just over these gray lines around the eyeball, because going into the stamp tool is just going to take too long, and I don't want to spend that much time on this right now. Just add a couple of dots around. I'm just clicking around the eye. Okay, now that I have these really small dots around the eye, I'm going to pause and clean up the horns, and then I'll bring you back so that you can see the finished product. It should be pretty much done here in just a second. Okay, so before I continue, I just added some shading. That was pretty much it. I haven't done any more texturing to the body. I really like how it is right now. But I'm really thinking, really debating on whether I want to add some like just some really hot lava pouring out of his mouth, or like coming off of his back, or just being like in a puddle nearby. I'm not sure. So because I'm not sure, I'm going to make sure that I select everything. Look at all those layers. Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. And lock options. Lock. Okay. This way I know if I'm like, oh, I really don't like it, I know that all the layers I did like are locked, and I can quickly grab and erase all of those extra things that I don't like. So I found this really cool Drippy Dragon. I like this one as well. He just has more of like just those cracks, right? Where the black part of the lava has like crusted over. Okay. This one, it's like he's just dripping, like all of that lava is just cracking open. So I really like the shading on the bottom of mine. That's why I was thinking like maybe just like having it pour out just a little bit of the mouth, or just, I don't know, maybe having it nearby. I mean, some of these lava dragons, like this, look, he's a little baby. He's got some cracks on his back and his tail is hot. Like, that's really cool looking. I just haven't quite decided what I like, but when I look at it, I think, it needs a little something. So maybe I'll just have some, like a big mama dragon mouth just kind of coming off the top, and have a little bit of lava dripping out of that. I think that's probably what I'm going to do next. Stay tuned. Okay. So, 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 yeah, it's kind of made the story change a little bit by adding this big mama mouth. It now his eye looks kind of scared, like he's looking like he's like, oh god, what's about to drip on me, that kind of a thing. So I'm really 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 glad that I kind of moved the I mean, I locked everything except for the dragon. Like, I had just started making the dragon. Okay, so I really like that, and I'm just gonna put one big tooth kind of like right there, and then we'll just keep going. Like, they're small and crooked, jagged, and I'll just add some yellow lines coming out from under there. I think this bottom should have been a little bit bigger. We'll just add some teeth from the top. Well, I'm gonna have to clean this up a lot more. That's all right. Oh, I don't like that tooth. There we go. There we go. They can layer. That's fine. Right? Oh, man. Okay, turn this off. No, turn this on. I want the fill on. I want it to be black. I'm gonna have to go around this. We're gonna have to make this a little bit bigger. The bottom of the jaw, I think, needs to be kind of like down a little bit more. So it's kind of like that, and then this part can come out a little bit. Okay, I think that's cool. I think that's cool looking. All right, so we're going to switch this back to my linear color of black and gray. And we're going to definitely up this pickle size because I don't want to play with it so much. Okay, so we're just going to go in here. Oh, I don't like gray. I just want it solid black. I changed my mind again. This is why I turn off the camera every so often, because I sit here and question everything. And it's kind of annoying even to myself. So I'm like, well, do I like it? I don't know. Do you like it? I don't know that either. I don't want this to be perfect. I want it to be kind of grayed out. Ooh, that's cool. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. All right, I'll just add some more. It's like oozing, dripping out of there. Ugh, gross. Okay, so here's what I did. Just so you can kind of see what my thoughts were with this lava. I stayed pretty much in linear. I used this gold and yellow and then this red. And I just kept changing the opacity from 50 to 30% for pretty much all of them. So I'm just going to come through here and add a little bit of between the teeth. So it's like dripping out just a little bit. Right. And I'm just, in my head, just making this up as I go along. I did find this pretty cool image over here of this like fire breathing dragon. And it's all lit up inside the mouth, and I thought that was cool. And then I was like, oh yeah, I can do some drips. So I'm just gonna, actually, you know what? Before I do those drips, I need to change the texture of the skin. So it's back to that lightning bolt. I want to make sure that the scale is down, line with the smaller. Okay, I'll just pause it for a second. Okay. All right, so I darkened it up a lot and it looks great, but still that like mood has changed. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my selection tool and I am going to select all of this and group it. Then I'm going to move it. So with my selection tool now I can click and drag. So let's see, would it look better dripping over the egg or like right in the center? I think I like the center the best. Look at all this. This is me drawing off the edges. Yep. Let's just use the arrow key. I think I need 2 more. Okay. Actually, I just like it better over here. I don't know why. I like that. The one thing about the group tool is that you can make it smaller. Like I can move it. I can just have this like ominous mouth in the corner in the back. But I don't want to do that. I'm going to use this. I'm going to do this. And then you know what? I'm going to use my eraser tool. And there's just this one spot here that I want to. There we go. Okay. I like it. So textures. I hope you really enjoyed my tutorial. I did. I had a great time. See you soon.